Yo, what's up? Hopefully y'all can see me. But I'm sitting in the car waiting on my daughter to come from her cheerleading practice. And I figure I will post something because this has been like weighing heavy on my mind. So I want to share it. I just actually got out of football practice with my youth football team. And, uh, and so I coach varsity, and the next step for these guys is high school. And so some of them we're talking about the high school options and things like that. So but I just wanted to come on and share and talk about academics. Throughout all of these videos that I've been posting, most of them been kind of hinting at the academic piece of it, and so I thought I would just take a deep dive into it just a little bit and talk about it and go live. Now, regardless of what you may heard or whatever, because some kids think that their talent can actually get them to college alone. But I'm sorry to tell you that you got to have your grades. There's no way around it. You got to have your academics intact, and you got to have your grades. And I'm definitely talking to those little knuckleheads that are out there that act like they can't get it together in the classroom. And I'm letting you know now it's going to come back and bite you. But the best thing to do is for you to focus on your academics and get your grades. There's nothing like putting yourself in a position to be eligible to be recruited. If you don't have your grades, you are ineligible to be recruited by a Division I college. Okay. Now I've heard some, different things about the type of grade point average, the GPA that you have to have. But I've heard it to be as low as a 2.5. If you have a 2.5, overall in your core classes, and I'm talking about that's your science, your math classes, your English classes. If you have those, a 2.5 in those classes, you're good. You can actually, you're eligible to be recruited by Division I college. And some of you act like it's hard to get that. Your overall GPA is an actual 2.5. I'm not talking about over your first report card marking and things like that, over your history of being in your grades. Like they do that overall GPA of your first, second, third, and fourth semester, or those card markings, I should say. You got to have an overall GPA of a 2.5, and that's not asking for much. That's not asking much. But some people struggle with that, and and most of the time, the struggle is because the priorities are not right. Responsibility, and just being flat out lazy. Can't nobody make you go to class and actually get your grades for you. That's that's beyond me. Nobody can do that. Only you can do that. Can't nobody make you do your work. You can do that. Can't nobody make you do your homework and be responsible. Only you can do that. I've heard of guys being super talented. They were excellent basketball players or excellent football players, and they couldn't go to college, a Division I college at that. They had to revert to going to a junior college to get their grades right, and then they would end up transferring. But and that's sad because they were getting offers from Division I colleges, and you hear about them, they getting this offer, that offer, but then it was time to actually for them to go to the school, but they couldn't go because their grades were messed up. And so you got to get your grades, guys. You got to get your grades, and I think that's really, really super important. I can't stress it enough. You try to stress it so much to your kids, and you guys think that you have time. Well, in the next grade, you're going to keep saying that to yourself, and then you're going to run out of time, and you're not going to have your grades. So, I challenge you guys to make sure that you have your grades, and because it really, I didn't really understand it until I started doing research on it. But I read something the other day on the NCAA website, and I put it in. I'm gonna put it in my description as well. But I read something that if you have, well, there is a, I don't want to say, it's a scale that's out there. It's kind of like an overall scale, um, and it's basically the higher your GPA is, the lower your ACT score has to be, or your ACT SAT score has to be. So if you have a high GPA overall, a high GPA like a 3.5 or whatnot, the less that you have to actually score on your college exam test and so entry exam test. So I'm not telling you that to slack off or anything like that, or that you don't have to try and shoot for a high score. Do that, because that works for you. But ultimately, if you, by having a high GPA overall GPA, then you just basically took the pressure off of yourself, scoring a high score on your ACT or your SAT. And so I thought that was crazy. That was unbelievable to me. So that's why, some of your coaches are riding you like, man, make sure your grades are on point, because basically if your GPA is where it needs to be, then you got it made. So don't make it difficult on yourself. Don't make it difficult on yourself. If all these things are definitely obtainable, man. So take advantage of the opportunities that you guys have in front of you. We didn't have those same opportunities growing up. We didn't have stuff like, YouTube and social media working for us. Um, so you guys got a lot of things that are working into your favor. All you guys got to do is get out there and perform in the classroom and perform out there on the field or on the court. That's why it's called a student athlete, because you're a student first. Stop taking the easy route and just being lazy and just say, you know what, I just want to hoop, or I just want to play football or whatever. But you got to put the work in academically. You can't be strong physically, but you got to be strong here too mentally. Flex that mental muscle that you got. And that's what I wanted to come on here and share, man. Academics is everything. Over all the things that I've been posting, academics is a must. Remember that. All right.